Like, you're gonna seriously sit there with your whole head ass and tell me that is not an indigenous nose? Those are not indigenous lips? Seriously? If his skin was slightly lighter and he had bone straight hair, you wouldn't question for a second if he was indigenous. But because he's dark and because he has a strong curl type, you only see him as black and you can't see him as anything else.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you're new here, welcome. Happy to have you. My name is Achila Yona. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell button, all notifications, to get notified when I go live and when I upload a new video. So today I want to talk about the token mules and what they would do just to get acceptance from people of different races. And in this video, it's going to be particularly natives, because what I have noticed over the years is that the pro-blacks, the token mules, and the natives, they will come together to create propaganda about you melanated Indigenous Americans, Aboriginal Americans, whatever you want to call us. They will do anything to try and make us seem wrong for sharing the correct and right information when it comes to DNA ancestry tests, when it comes to genealogy. They will create their own propaganda, lies, deceit to try and sway public opinion about the whole situation when it comes to quote-unquote Black American origins. And I feel like it is very essential for me to make this video, because I know there's still a lot of people that are kind of not sure where they come from. They still have not done their genealogy, but they probably been watching from the outside of everything going on. And look, okay, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I do not believe every Black American is Indigenous, but also I don't believe every Black American is African either. You really have to do your genealogy research to know who you are and where you come from. But I will tell you this: just because you see memes talking about people being African or people being Indigenous does not mean you should solely base your genealogy on those things, especially memes. You have to put in the work, you have to put in the research, and you cannot use DNA ancestry tests to prove who you are. DNA ancestry tests cannot prove your racial origins, and you cannot use DNA ancestry tests to substitute for doing your genealogy research. You still have to do your genealogy research. You still have to look up paper documents to figure out and learn more about your ancestry and who you come from and so on and so forth. You can't take a DNA ancestry test to substitute that and say, oh, well, this is who I am, and you never picked up a piece of paper with your family's ancestry on it, or you never looked at one. And this is why it's so dangerous when they try to promote DNA ancestry tests as a way to prove or know exactly who you are, because a lot of these DNA ancestry test companies, it's just another gig to them. It's just another way to get money. Okay, you have to do your own research to know who you are, or otherwise you're always going to be pretty much pushed, or I don't really want to say push, but you will always be swayed by other people's opinions like a leaf on a tree, because you have not done the work to figure out the research of your ancestors for yourself. So I have seen these two videos for the longest, and I have been wanting to talk about them for a long time, y'all. Like, it's just time for me to really put this information out there, because one thing that I noticed is natives would use these token mules to try and debunk or use them as a guard dog to come and attack you melanated Indigenous people, you melanated American Indians, whatever you want to call us. They will use them to fight their battles. And I noticed that anytime when I would debate a mestizo native or a mixed native, the token mules will come out the woodworks and just be going off the hinges. They don't even know what they're even talking about. They don't even know that the native person that they're caping for is a racist. They this, down, the third. They don't even know the background of the native that they're going so hard for. But yet they be so quick to at you, come on your page to spread hate and sometimes violence. But I will tell you what, there are times when I would debate natives and I would have natives come on my page and they'd be like, okay, that is interesting. Why are native people worshiping indigenous gods that look black? Why are indigenous people were labeled as Negroes or so on and so forth? They started thinking and they came to the same conclusion that I have been at. You know what I'm saying? So when you do the research and you're able to help other people open their eyes, that's great. But you have to get ready for the hate. And see, and this is why I pretty much separate myself from people, because first and foremost, these natives would use the token mules to get information out of you. They would use them to spread ignorance, hate, and confusion amongst the melanated American Indians. And this is why it's so important for you to vet the people that you have in your lives, or the people that's trying to come into your life, because you never know who they teaming up with to go against you. Now I'm going to show y'all these two videos and I'm going to come back with further commentary.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. Bye. You get your...
Okay, so normally I don't talk about Indigenous history on this account, and that is specifically because I want to leave that up to the community at Indigenous TikTok. But when I see images like the one before, I need to speak up. That is a photoshopped image of this woman. This woman is Pretty Nose. Pretty Nose is a war hero from the Battle of Little Bighorn. She deserves her flowers, and her respect needs to be put on her name. Next, we need to talk about Pocahontas, whose real name was Matuaka. She was a trafficked child in the 1600s. Of course, Disney lied in the movie, but for different reasons. Let's be historically correct. Lastly, I want to talk about Afro-Indigeneity. Yes, I want to acknowledge that Black Indigenous people did exist and Black Indigenous people do exist, but that is because they have ancestry and they are recognized members of an Indigenous community, they have a parent who is Indigenous, or they're from a community of Black people who were accepted into an Indigenous community as members sometime in the past. That doesn't mean Black people were here first. We are Africans. Stop the erasure and tell the history right.
Ancestry tree research is becoming increasingly popular, but many people put their research at risk by only saving it on their computers. If your computer breaks, retrieving your research will be difficult, if not impossible. Online memberships can be costly, and forgetting your password can cause you to lose all your work and start over. Preserve your research with our fillable family group sheets. Introducing School of Yona, our family tree organizer. Designed to help you safeguard your ancestry, our family tree organizer comes with personalized sheets that can list one couple, their parents, and up to 24 children and spouses. Entries provided for ancestors who are listed on the Indian rolls and slave schedules, and also 40 two-sided sheets in all, and much more. Share them at holiday gatherings or pass them down to future generations. The benefits are endless. The link to our organizer is in the description box below. Effectively preserve your ancestry today.
Y'all have seen those two videos, and look, token mules would do anything for native acceptance, because first and foremost, I have seen these two videos circling around these native pages, and they use these videos to try and debunk what you melanated American Indians have to say about our ancestry and heritage. And honestly, how can you use other people's videos addressing us to try and debunk what we got going on? Like, you just can't. Like, the only way you can debunk what we're talking about is if you actually did our genealogy research and you see for yourself that it wasn't the case. But no, you decide to use a random Negropean, okay? You decide to use a random token mule to try and debunk what you melanated Americans have to say about our history and our ancestry. And this is why token mules are so dangerous. They're so dangerous because they will do anything for acceptance, and they will try to basically sway people in the worst way. They make up these memes, they make up these TikToks, they will Photoshop, they will do anything they got to do to try and sway people into thinking that you melanated American Indians are lying about history, when the proof is in the pudding, when the proof is in the sources, when the proof is in the pictures. Like, there's so much proof, there's so much evidence, but yet people still want to put their head in the sand because they're not ready for that conversation. And a lot of natives aren't ready for that conversation. They aren't ready to accept that you melanated people were already here, especially before them. But truth be told, that's not our problem. That's not our fault that they don't want to accept us. And I'm so tired of people trying to push the narrative that, oh, well, I'm so tired of these wannabe natives talking about they native. I just wish the natives would accept them so they can shut up. Okay, first of all, we don't need native acceptance. Okay, a lot of us were already on the rolls. Okay, a lot of us weren't on the rolls but still indigenous. So either way it go, we don't need native approval to basically be who we already are. Like, first and foremost, you don't need a piece of paper to tell you who you are. You don't need a piece of paper in order to embrace who you are. And it's funny how natives will sit here and say, oh, well, you talking about my white ancestry is anti-native. There's no such thing as a white Indian or white native. You're just being anti-native. Just because I'm not enrolled doesn't mean I'm not native, but my DNA signature test says I'm native and blah, blah, blah. Like, look, if you're not enrolled, you're basically in the same boat as the people you call Black American that you constantly try to look down upon. So you need to watch what you say, okay? Because truth be told, a lot of these mestizo Mexicans that they claim are native, they ain't been accepted into native tribes either. A lot of them are, and that's why they were trying to use Yamasee Nation to try and gain U.S. citizenship in the United States. So really, we're all in the same boat, but yet folks want to go at it with each other because it's about skin tone, it's about hair texture, it's about who look like this and this and that. And look, at the end of the day, it's all about your genealogy. It's all about who you descended from. So if your genealogy says that you descend from indigenous people, then that's what it is. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. If that's your truth, that's your truth. But yet, don't sit here and try to take my truth away from me just because I'm darker than you. And these token mules that side with these natives, especially the racist one. And let me tell y'all something. In the days where I used to debate with the natives, they used to be saying Negro, calling us self-hating Africans, calling us the N-word with the hard ER at the end. And these pro-blacks, these pan-Africanists, and these token mules, what did they do? They stayed silent and let them talk to us any kind of way. But yet, how you gonna sit here and call us a self-hating African, but you letting a native who is mostly European call us the N-word with the ER at the end? But yet you claim that you for black people. What sense does that make? What sense does that make? Please tell me, what sense does that make? Okay? And not to mention that you have in the second video, there's you melanated man talking about photoshopping images and stuff. Look, first of all, the natives and the pan-Africanists be photoshopping images of you melanated American Indians. For example, I remember natives would Photoshop images of me like this one. They would sit there and make my picture darker and say that I'm trying to look like them because my photo is lighter. Because first of all, the photo on the right is actually the real photo. And like, I don't know why I'm explaining, because I'm pretty sure you can tell that the left one on the screen is Photoshop. The darker image is Photoshop. They Photoshop the image to make it look like I'm lightening my photos to look like them, which is not true. I don't feel the need to lighten my photos. How I post my photos is how I post my photos. Okay? No Photoshop needed. Now, if I feel like I want to remove my background, I will do that, but I'm not making myself lighter to appear native. Which is also funny how they say I'm lightening my photos, because also in the same breath, they will also say I'm too light to claim that I'm native. And I have had natives try to say that, oh, I'm darker than you, so therefore I'm more native than you. And I'm just like, so which one is it? Which one is it? Is it you have to be darker to claim native, or do you have to be lighter to claim native? Which one is it? And also, we cannot forget Brother Hanson, aka Brother Hand Sanitizer, as I call, because I don't know if y'all know, but back in the day, me and him was going through like a real heated debate, and he photoshopped an image of me with a TP in the background. Yo, I'm sorry, but it's just like, it's just so stupid, because they do stuff like this, and then when there are images of someone, like pretty much a native person, being clearly photoshopped, they didn't want to blame on us, talking about, oh, them wannabe natives, them wabos over there photoshopping images. First of all, how we know it ain't you that did it? How we know it ain't a native or a Pan-Africanist ain't do it? How we know a token mule ain't do it? First of all, that's what people need to be asking themselves. How we know it ain't one of those groups of people that did it? So I'm not saying that, you melanated American Indians don't Photoshop images. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not everywhere at all places, so I don't know if it was you melanated Aboriginal American or a token mule or a native did that. Obviously, someone photoshopped the image, but I'm letting y'all right now, I would not be surprised if a Pan-Africanist or a native Photoshop those images and then try to put it off on us like we the ones that did it. Because I have seen you melanated Americans post the Photoshop images of natives around. I have seen them post it, but just because they posted it does not mean that they photoshopped it and then posted it. They could just circulate the image that they saw because they thought it was real, but obviously it's not real. So that's all I have to say about this video. You really just have to watch the people that you're following, and you have to really fact check. You have to really check out the sources of these photos, because they do be photoshopped at times, but also you have to check and see who is doing the photoshopping, right? You have to check and see who is actually over here putting out propaganda, because it's another thing to post a obvious Photoshop picture and you don't know it. I mean, I'm saying obvious because I have been in the game for a long time when it comes to Aboriginal American history, so I pretty much know when images are Photoshopped. But I mean, for y'all who just coming in, y'all may not know, so y'all may post a photo thinking it's real, but then you found out later it's fake and it's Photoshop. So that's why I suggest y'all to check out these sources of these photos. Don't just post them because they look cool or it quote unquote proves your debate in the moment. Like, actually take the time to do the research on these photos, because there is a lot of fake photos and fake information out there, and that's why you have to check out the sources to see if it's real or not. But it is cool to post images paying homage, but just make sure you paying homage to the right people and you're posting images that are real and not fake. So that's all I have to say for now. Thank y'all guys for watching. Don't forget to do your genealogy, and if you need help doing your genealogy, be sure to check out my Patreon. I give out plenty of good tips on how to research your genealogy. If you would like to donate, you can donate via Cash App at Bad Gal Yona. And also be sure to leave me a heart down below to let me know you have watched this entire video. And if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell button, all notifications to get notified when I go live and when I upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and until the next time, bye.